Just gonna. So the stream is at twitch.tv/Ellie_editor. If you want to open it up and see what it looks like.
Yeah. Okay, what was that URL again?
Twitch.tv. I'll go to it in the browser here. Oh, that's the chat. Here it is. Well, it doesn't need to finish loading.
Watching a commercial.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly post this in the Elm Slack, and then we'll get going. And
Cool.
Do you have any meetings or anything coming up?
Nope.
Like right after this? Okay. So we'll go right up to noon here, or I guess 10 over there.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so I'm just going to copy this link into the Elm Slack. I've never started one of these in a prepared state.
It's part of the process.
Yeah, it's just 10 minutes of like moving windows around and copying links. I need to do some cleanup on this laptop and find out why everything is so slow to execute. It wasn't always this way. Certainly cost enough money. Okay, let's begin.
All right.
So, quickly. Start up the app. So it's the Python backend. Have you done a bunch of Python in the past?
I have. That was my my first language.
Awesome. I don't think we'll be doing any, but we can look at whatever you want to look at. Just like a really short and sweet Flask server.
Oh man, I love Flask.
Right?
I almost don't want to look because I'm trying to just get so engrossed in Elm and Ruby.
Fair enough.
I don't want to remember Python.
I won't tempt you. But if it's okay with you, maybe at some point I could get your advice on different things that I've done poorly in here.
Yeah, that'd be good at some point.
Sounds good. So this is running. We'll also start the front end. It's a Webpack build for all the Elm stuff.
Cool.
And Strick came on, I think a couple, like 2 weeks ago now, and we talked about how the Webpack build works. And it's like pretty involved, and it didn't need to be, probably, but I don't know. It's like front end build stuff is interesting to me. So there's all this. So we're just waiting for this Elm build to finish, and then we'll be able to run it.
Cool.
My goodness. Oh, there it goes. Oh, great.
Whoa.
So the streaming software is using all of my CPU. Well, at least for next time, that'll be straightforward to figure out. Okay. Also want to see if we have anybody watching it. 2 viewers, but I think that's potentially both of us.
I closed mine, so
Okay.
it's not me.
Oh no, we have somebody. Hello, friend. Okay.
Hi.
Okay, so switch over here and do localhost 5000. Okay. Yeah, so here is where things are right now. So I can hit save and it'll show this little like animation while it does its work. It's going to be very slow because I have no free CPU apparently. But that's good because it'll help us to sort of empathize with folks who don't have MacBook Pros. Oh yeah, so here's something to highlight. So this is a message that's coming in from a port, and it's telling us it's compiling something in a web worker, and there are 1 total modules that it needs to compile, and 0 have been complete so far. So we can use a heuristic to say like if the number of modules that need to be compiled when you hit save is greater than or equal to like 5, then that's a good reason to pop out a notification here and say like this is going to take a little while.
Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, so there it goes. It worked. And that should be on the this should be in the S3 bucket now. So if I hit reload here, well, that's fun. But, oops, but out of scope for today. Last time on the stream, AV came on, and most of the time we were trying to figure out like when we entered that URL with like an ID string in it. Mm-hmm. We would see this come up on the server, but the D would have been changed to an F in here. It was really confusing as to why, but it ended up being that I got confused porting the server from Python 2 to Python 3, and the way that long just became int. So I was doing some like weird floating point conversion that worked before, but not anymore. So like a floating point error was getting into like the decoding process for this string.
Oh no.
Yeah, and it was like shifting some bits around. So that was fun. Okay, so not worried about the fact that we can't load that. Wow, we have 7 people all of a sudden.
It may or may not be my family.
Oh, that's awesome.
I told them about it.
Oh, that's so cool.
Or it could be not my family and we're just really popular super quickly.
Why not both?
Yeah, probably both.
Well, the viewer list isn't loading properly for me right now, so. Anyway, just making sure that you are being heard. Okay. So let's take a look at some code. Oops. There we go. So we're in source and apps and editor. Update is where all of the logic lives.
Cool.
Yeah. Trying to scroll. Well, I suppose one thing we could do is delete this commented out code that no longer is needed.
Just FYI, I got a text from my brother that says, "Get that viewer list up." So I'm guessing some of them, at least, are my family.
Nice. Oh, that's so cool. If I told my family to like watch me streaming, writing some code, they'd be like, "Are you kidding me?" Okay, so the looking for so this compile stage changed message is bringing in things of type compile stage. One of which is the one that we were looking at, where it was saying how many modules are left.
Can I look at type compile stage?
Absolutely.
That looks like.
Absolutely. And we'll look at where it's coming from too. That's in here. So there's a bunch of these.
Oh, got it.
Yep. So we start off with nothing. The first time you arrive at the site, have I told you the whole story of have I told you the whole story of like putting the Elm compiler in a web worker?
No.
Okay, so the in this new version of Ellie here that we're working towards releasing, the Elm compiler is compiled with GHC.js from Haskell to JavaScript and wrapped with a bunch of supporting JavaScript in Elm, and it loads in a web worker, so I don't have to host the server to run the compiler anymore.
Wow.
Yeah, it was like a fun little experiment that turned out to actually work.
That's awesome.
Right? Oops.
Aw, Beth.
That was sweet.
That was really sweet.
That was my fiance.
Oh.
What was I saying? Oh yeah. So the first time you come to the site, there's a JavaScript module that goes and requests this compiler source code from a CDN and sort of like manually downloads it over Ajax, and it reports progress events, and once it gets it, it'll store it in IndexedDB as a blob, so that the next time around we don't have to download it because it's a pretty big file.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, but the first time we have a progress bar that shows the compilers being downloaded, and I'm not going to show it right now because OBS is taking up so much of my processor, and it's going to we'd be sitting here for 10 minutes.
Sure.
Just waiting, but so that's what that is for. And then I think the rest of these are pretty descriptive. So this is when you hit compile, it's going to look at this sort of like generated elm package.json that comes from this data over here.
Okay.
And it's going to go off to a CDN where I have a job that downloads packages from package.elm-lang.org and finds all the source files and just makes a big JSON representation of those. So it'll go out to the CDN and find them and download them and put them in IndexedDB.
Cool.
Yeah. And then the rest of these are sort of hand copied from elm-make. So I went one by one through the Haskell modules in there, and I made Elm modules that did the same thing.
Wow.
Yeah. And Elm makes a really well-written piece of software, and it doesn't have all like super fancy type class stuff. So the port was not particularly grueling. But anyway, there are several it's like a pipeline is what Evan calls it. So the first is like it'll go through and sort of like parse the modules and get the import statements and figure out what your dependency graph is for all your modules, and figure out where all the modules are in the file system, or in our case, in IndexedDB, and figure out which of them have already been compiled to sort of like the cached intermediate files, like all this stuff, the elm-lang and the elmo. And
Right.
yeah,
Cool.
find out which. So OC wants to know who's on the stream today. So yeah, we're like 22 minutes in. So do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm Ellie McKnight. I work with Luke at No Red Ink. I'm about 7 weeks into learning Elm, so a newbie, and yeah.
Awesome. Do you have do you like want to like plug your Twitter handle or anything like that?
I don't tweet very often,
Right
Luke,
on.
to be honest. I mean, you can follow me. It's at Allie K McKnight, but it's not very interesting. I think I've tweeted maybe once in the last 3 months.
Right on. Twitter's I have capital O opinions about Twitter. What kind of places?
Oh yeah, didn't you delete your Twitter handle recently?
Yeah, I deleted my personal Twitter account.
Okay, well there you go.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, cool. And thank you so much for taking an hour of your day to come on here.
Absolutely.
It's way more fun with other people.
Well, I've heard a lot about Ellie. I've used it a number of times. It's pretty awesome.
Awesome.
Pretty awesome stuff.
I'm glad to be able to share how it works with you.
So there's our compiling int, right?
Yep.
So that first int is the one we want to monitor.
Yep.
Awesome.
Maybe a quick refactor we can do right here. I always this is something I do a lot. If I have a union type like this, this is not particularly descriptive of what these two ints stand for, and I constantly forget which one is which. So I'm going to do a quick refactor here and do
awesome.
A total and completed. So we can
cool.
See. Yeah. I call it complete down here. Okay. And then this just needs to be changed to a record. And then there's a decoder as well. We can just do all right. There's
Cool.
an error. Too many arguments. Really?
What?
Expected 1, but got 2. Oh, it's still working. There we go.
Is Atom your preferred editor?
It is.
Nice.
Yeah. I never, in college, in the computer engineering program at the school that I went to, the professors were pretty big into terminal-based text editors. One of them even used Nano, and it was exclusively what he used, with no syntax highlighting or anything.
Oh my gosh! Why would he do that to himself?
I mean, he's a professor, so he's spending his time writing grant proposals and not writing code, really. But
okay.
Yeah, it's more just he's just the old school gatekeeper style of teaching, where it's
sure.
You have to go through this terrible thing to be a real programmer. Come on.
Go through the fire.
Yeah, it's dumb. But I don't know. It never caught on. I always used I think the graphic text editor in the wall of Debian computers in the computer lab. They all had a gedit on them, just like the GNU graphical text editor. So that's what I got started with, and kind of just switched to Sublime Text after that, and then to Atom when it came out.
Interesting.
Yeah. Okay, so we refactored this, and it passed linting. So now we need to update it in here. So let's find compile stage changed. Oh, we pass it straight in, so it's going to be the view that needs to be updated. So that's in here. And the name of the view function that we're interested in is called output. Or the name of the module, rather. Yeah, here we go. So we can just destructure that once again. And we'll wait for it to recompile. Okay. Compiling Elm. Just always compiling Elm. I'm gonna do this on my work laptop next time because it's got way better processing power. I think that's a good solution.
Yeah.
My goodness, this is taking so long. Well, I'm like fairly confident that's going to work. Looks like it passed linting, so let's go back to update. So there's two things we need to look at here. The first is that we want to make use of this this message bus module. This is an effect manager because sometimes I like to get down in the weeds unnecessarily. So this is an effect manager where you can pass it this information about a notification. Oh. Oh, that makes sense. I didn't construct it correctly. All right, really quick, let's make sure that works. So this is now in the compiler. Nope, wrong thing. Main. Oh my gosh, so laggy. Okay. So this is a separate Elm app that runs and communicates with web workers to push the compile process through. Somewhere in here, yeah. So we just need to change this to be that total complete. Okay. Back to talking about this. Yeah, so there's this notify function where you can give it this info, and it will take it onto a queue, and then just using the effect manager kind of process, it'll allow you to listen to notifications that are being pushed onto this queue with a separate subscription. So we can both, yeah. So it's sort of just like a big circular command subscription thing. I don't know if this is a good idea or not, and I would expect several people that we work with to feel that maybe it isn't, but it for sure works for this situation. So I'm sticking with it for now. I haven't thought of a better way just yet. So we can call message bus.notify and just like pass it this info, and it'll generate a command. Which will then push something onto this subscription, and we have subscribed to it. Oh, what now? Why is that squiggly? Okay. First, oh, I guess we missed one. Yeah, here's another.
Was that just the only error, or was there one more?
Let's see. Okay. Oh my gosh. I wish I could do something about this, but the next time that you come on, it'll be
like lightning fast, right?
For sure. It's a learning process. It looks like this is good now, I think.
Okay.
I don't know what it's doing. One of the cool things about having a really slow laptop is occasionally it'll just like dredge up all of the race conditions in the UI of the software that you use that are like hard to notice because it expects things to just like be fast.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I've never had that issue.
Yeah, I think that's what just happened. Like, there's like two UI elements that depend on the linting process in Atom, and one like just kind of messed up because it expected it to be finished.
Interesting.
Yeah. Okay. Seems to think that this is okay now, so maybe that'll compile properly. Anyway, so the first thing that we want to do is send a notification back into the program if we detect that this looks like it's going to be a big long saving process, and so we will figure out that that's happening based on if this stage is compiling, and total is some number that we can decide later, and complete is 0. So we know this is the first brush with compilation, and there's a decent number of modules to get through. And we also need to know that this is like a save rather than just a compile for viewing in the side. And so we will be able to know about that by taking a look at the model and examining this save state. Oops, so we don't need this to be open anymore. So instead of command.none, we do if in case stage model.save.
I think you wrote state.
Sorry?
I think you wrote state.
Oh, I did.
Stage.
Thank you. Oops. Of so if it's compile stage compiling and total complete, the structure of that. and this is remote data dot is loading. Oh, we don't need to do that. We can just do remote data dot loading. And now, let's see if complete is 0, because we don't want to send a notification like every single time a module gets compiled. And total is greater than or equal to, I don't know, like 5. We can see if that seems good later. Then we want to do one of these. So we'll do error for now because errors get popped out automatically, and that probably needs more explanation. When an error happens, when the notification.error level notification comes in, this gets like opened automatically, so you can see the error that occurred. Otherwise, it just like stays closed and a little number increments over here because we don't really need to interrupt people with like your compilation succeeded because they already know that.
Sure.
But just for the sake of seeing it pop open.
Okay.
We will do error, and then we'll refactor the notify function to take like a boolean to indicate whether it should like pop it open or not. So saving may take a while. That can be lowercase. Okay. And then like please, what's a nice way to say like please be patient? I don't like telling people to be patient.
Please wait patiently. Please wait a moment.
Oh, awesome. Like a very mixed. What is the? I work at No Red Ink, so I should know this grammar term. But what is the term for like I and you and we?
Like I honestly have no idea. You're asking the wrong person.
Is it like the person of like first person versus
the pronoun? I don't know.
Yeah.
Please wait a moment while. What are you trying to say?
I have like my like messages are all mixed up between like I and we, and I'm just gonna go with I for now. That seems fine. Build everything.
Are you referring to yourself or the program? Are you personifying the program?
Right, that's what I'm not sure of.
I don't know.
I think I started with I.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah, I think I started with I because like all the Elm tools refer to themselves in the first person when like an error happens. So, okay. But I also like I don't like. I think that tends to lead people to. I'm like losing vocabulary today out of my head. It leads people to like give human character, like think of Ellie as like a human thing when it's like a piece of software.
Is that bad?
I don't know, but it's definitely led to people sending me Slack messages about like, oh, I don't like the name, like it's confusing, like is it a person? No, it's a piece of software.
Are they worried they're gonna like fall in love with Ellie?
No, just like I don't know, people are weird about names. Like one time somebody was like, oh, like why does it have to have a woman's name? Like What? Like, why does that bother you? Anyway.
Like it is. It's a personal pronoun.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay. Cool. Thanks.
Oops.
Okay. Okay. So we're sending this notification when there's a lot to do. Otherwise, we'll command.none. And then out here, we'll command.none as well.
Awesome.
Yeah. So let's wait for Elm format to run and for the Elm compiler to run.
So this, the message bus is a command without like a type. It's like an anonymous command. Is that what kind of what's going on here?
Yeah. It's like like when you send something out of a report, and like you can just use ports wherever because their message type is arbitrary.
Oh.
Yeah, it's the same idea.
Okay.
Yeah. Ports and like handwritten effect managers like this, and like their message type is. Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Yeah.
You sounded really evil for a moment.
To go back to the video later and see what that was all about. Anyway, ports and handwritten effect managers like this one, they all work the same way under the hood. Like if you go into the process module into the native code. So the only time you have like a type parameter for a command is if the effect manager is like holding on to some sort of error handler or something that itself has a type. So commands are not like inherently typed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Like when you do HTTP, the
Mm-hmm. Oh, you're right. Yeah, totally.
You're passing a thing that like a function that has a type into the task, so that gives the task a type. And then,
sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Thank you.
Yeah. So let's see how we can test this. This is actually working out really nicely for time. So if I add something really big like Elm CSS, wow, that's not supposed to look like that at all.
Wow.
Okay, so I'm going to install that. Import CSS. And then hit save. Uh-oh.
Oh.
Oh no, this has happened before. This is a bug in the script that populates the CDN. It messes up on a. It's something with the way that it crawls modules. So Elm CSS is not a good way to do that. So I think we have plenty of time. We have 15 minutes, and the last little refactor we're gonna do won't take that long. I'm gonna go ahead and just like clear out the cache that lives in IndexedDB. And this will be a cool time to show you all the things that happen the first time you arrive. So there's going to be a little progress bar here. So we're downloading the compiler.
Cool.
Yeah. So now we've got all that stuff. I'm going to hit save, and there's going to be about 38 modules that it needs to compile. So this should definitely trigger that notification, and if it doesn't, we'll know something is up. And while we're waiting for this, I can look at network and show you the things that it's going out and requesting. Well,
Oh, that's good.
yeah, I can share the code for that for sure. I'll put it in like a private gist and send it around because, like I said, I'm not sure that it's actually a good idea. Yeah, so what it gets from the server is just like a big map of file names to code, and that goes into each one of these goes individually into an IndexedDB entry. So we're treating IndexedDB like a file system. So something did not work over here. Let's see, so we've got the incoming compile stage. Oh, well, that's a lot of fun. We're not actually seeing this message because it gets ignored when we save because, boo, okay.
Wait, what's going on?
This is kind of lazy programming on my part. So right now, when you hit save, it like sets a flag out in the JavaScript to say like this is a saving compilation instead of a compilation for this area. So if I cancel this, by just leaving, the message that we just worked on, this one here, it's responsible for updating this UI over here. So I'm going to hit compile. And as those messages are coming in, it's updating this UI.
Okay.
But we're skipping that for save because we don't want the saving process to interrupt people being able to like play with their programs while they're waiting. The downside of that is that we can't work off of this message while save is happening. And last time with AV, we concluded that that's actually like a reasonable UX because people should be able to do whatever they want to do over here while save is happening. So it's good that they're separate, but we need a different message now to kind of handle compile stages that are coming from a save rather than just a regular compile.
Got it.
Yeah. Was that a decent explanation?
It was.
Okay. So let's do that. Let's call this one like save stage changed, compile stage. Oh. Okay. This is a really big file. I'm going to split it up at some point. Okay, so we'll just put this right underneath this. And we'll take all of this out. Command .none back in. And then down here, we won't mess with the model at all, but we will do this. then we need to subscribe. Okay, value to message. So message. I'm going to do just a lot of copy and paste so that we can see this work before our time runs out.
Sure.
So I think we should probably go at like 11:58 since there's a,
The Evan Elm thing.
Yeah, right at noon. Wow, interesting. So we've got this already. We don't actually need this. We've already got a port that's listening for messages coming from the save process. That makes sense because we needed to find out if it succeeded or not. So we can just we can put some logic in here. We can do like compile. I can never remember what this one's called. Compiles. No. Compiling.
I don't think I've ever seen a debug log in a case statement.
Oh yeah.
But that's awesome.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Cool. I'm gonna use that.
Yeah, like case statements, anywhere where you can just put like any old expression, you can do debug.log. So you couldn't do it like in here. You couldn't do this because pattern matching statements are different than regular, like ordinary Elm expressions. But you can do them up here. You can do it to like the arguments of functions. You can do it pretty much wherever else.
It's awesome.
Yeah. So we could do like if complete equal to 0, then let's get a little bit more specific over here. Call this like compile for save started, the total number. Table modules. Just get rid of all this stuff. Okay.
Cool.
You actually have to make that message. Okay. So now we have this, and we can go into here and do this. Total. Else no op. I'm not sure what it doesn't like. Oh, no, it's fine. Okay, so let's wait for that to compile. And then we should be able to run it and see it work, and then we'll be done for today.
Cool. seems fun to watch.
Yeah. I think that one of the best parts for me about having people come onto the stream is, there's somebody else there to be like, well, why are you doing that? And then I have
to question you.
Yeah, so then I have to like explain myself and not do things that just like seem really convenient,
Sure.
but are actually not a good idea. Okay, compiled successfully.
Well, it's interesting to see how you designed your code, because the only Elm code base I've ever gotten into deeply is the no red ink one.
Mm-hmm.
And it's they're both different in their own ways.
Yeah, that's having this be like the majority of the Elm stuff that I've done up to joining no red ink. It's like a fun comparison.
Yeah.
So now, go to application and delete everything again. And we hit save. Sure hope this works. Build. Oof. There we go.
All right.
That's cool.
Perfect.
So the final step that we could have gotten to was there's also like an information level for notifications where it's just like a blue eye icon over here.
So it doesn't seem like something's gone wrong.
Right. Exactly. Right. So we would have changed the way that notify function works to be able to pop those out too. But that's okay. That's something that can be done next time. So thank you so much for coming onto the stream.
Thank you, Luke. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I'll see you at work in like 1 minute.
All right. Bye.
Bye. Okay, bye everyone. I will post the recording, I don't know, like later today. All right.